Hello, hello, hello. It's time for Mickey in the Middle, the last big show of the week. That's right, it's Friday, January 29th, 2021. Make sure that you do me a favor and check in. Steve Hayes winning the gold medal tonight. First one to make a comment. Hola, my friend down in Florida. I hope you are doing well. I hope life is treating you well, just the way that I always wanted it to treat you well. I'm telling you what, I can hardly wait till I come down and see you. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to go run some town. Go run the town, man. Hey, do me a favor, everybody that's getting here. We're going to play this for about another minute. Do me a favor, please check in. Make sure that you... Oh, I'm supposed to be playing a video. Holy smokes, here we go. Hey, hello, Mark Alcantara. Congratulations, you are the silver medalist. Hey, another production error on Mickey Spillane's part. I'm supposed to start off by pushing number 2, but I didn't. Never do. I'm horrible at this production thing, but I think I fixed the lighting situation. So do me a favor, check in as soon as you get here. My Mickey in the Middle, Monday through Friday. Remember to like, share, ring the notification bells. That way you get notified whenever I come on the air. Or at least they notify one of you or two of you. So do me a favor, check in. Today we're going to talk about you're erased. I mean, like, you are seriously gone. Nobody cares about you. And it's we're going to get started as soon as Matt Ollie finishes this right here. We're going to be back. All right, so here we go. Love that little riff he came up with for the song Make Her Mine. Mick and Ollie. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey. The show is called Mickey in the Middle, and that's the quintessential show for Middle Americans, where Middle Americans have a place to go to feel united. Because I'm going to tell you what, right now in America, we are not united. This show is for everybody. This show is for every race, every demographic, every gender, every sex, anybody that wants to consider themselves Middle Americans. You want to know why? Because we all have something in common. We're all Middle Americans. Every single day, you hear about the way the world is being divided up, either by gender or by religion or by ethnic background or this, that, and the other thing. The rich folks versus the poor folks, the rural folks versus the urban folks. To hell with all that, man. If you're a Middle American and you just treat me right, I'm going to treat you right. I have respect for all human beings. I start off with a position of respect. You know, you don't have to earn my respect. I go in giving you my respect until you go to the point where I just go, well, I can't respect you anymore. But I understand that you're going to have a difference of opinion of me. You're going to think differently than me. Your background is going to add to a conversation, and my background is going to add to a conversation, and hopefully we can discuss things. Because right now in America, nobody's talking about anything, and that just sucks. I hate the fact that we just cannot talk to each other. Darla Stewart, welcome to the big show. Hey, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're being erased. Now you've been erased. You were erased a long time ago. With me, with everybody else in the middle class. They don't really, they don't care. Right? They've got their own personal political agenda, and they're going to go do that. The rich folks on Wall Street are going to do that. They don't care what Middle Americans think, as was evidenced by what happened with GameStop, which I talked about last night. The political parties don't care about us. They keep fighting over whether we're going to have a shutdown, whether we're not going to have a shutdown, whether people are going to wear masks, who's going to get inoculations. But they never pass any legislation about that. All they do is they sit up there, bitch, gripe, moan, and complain, and then they don't do anything. And then the President of the United States sends out some kind of an executive order about what an executive mandates that the country has to follow, and he doesn't listen to you. He doesn't listen to me. So what I did tonight is I wanted to go and prove the point. I wanted to prove the point simply that as time progresses, your voice in the world gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And that means that if you don't have a voice, if you're not allowed to think the way that you think, then that means that you are being erased. And here's what the thing is. In the past, I mean, entire peoples have been erased and wiped off of the face of the planet. The Incas, the Mayans, there's African tribes that have been wiped off the place. They have people put into bondage and into slavery. I'll take the Israelites, for example, right? They all said, hey, let's go to Egypt. This is going to be great. They went down to Egypt, and then they were enslaved for a millennium. It was crazy. And then somebody came along, Moses, and said, hey, let my people be. And there's a great show called Moses, I think, the Ten Commandments. There's a great show called Ten Commandments where Charlton Heston is Moses, and he goes, oh, let my people free. And then Yul Brynner says, nah, I can't really do that, bro. Because if I let your people free, then I don't have anybody to take care of me and build my stuff. So all of the people, all of the Israelites that were in Egypt at the time had basically become non-people. Nobody cared what they thought. Nobody cared what they did, or they didn't care what they did, right? Because they didn't get a choice to decide what they did. They were just enslaved. They were like, hey, man, build these pyramids for me. Awesome. Hey, I need a sphinx built over here. I'm going to need about 2,000 or 3,000 people to dig a hole for a tomb. Oh, yeah, and by the way, somebody's going to have to give me water and grapes. All of those people were just wiped off the face of the earth. They were erased. Nobody cared about what they thought. Nobody cared about what they said. Nobody cared about them. And in the blink of an eye, they could be wiped off the planet. Now, I use that as an example because we, in modern times, since the 15th, 16th, 17th century, the 18th century, that's what we did. We marginalized different groups of people based on whoever was in power. And this is a very, very significant and important fact because kings and queens ruled the world. Whoever had the most powerful army basically crushed whoever didn't have a huge army. And that's how we got the legends of the world, right? That's where the Englands came from, the Spains came from. That's where France came from. Germany rose up. China, Japan, Turkey, the Ottoman Empire. Those were all run by dictators and crazy sons of bitches. And you know what they did? If they didn't like what you said, they erased you, either by killing you, by killing your friends, by killing your neighbors, by killing your family, killing entire towns, killing entire nations. But then a miraculous thing happened. Somewhere in the middle 1700s, somebody said, hey, all people are created equal, and we should get rid of this slavery thing. So the anti-slavery thing kind of started getting hold in 1700s, and it started kind of like in England, it was a little bit in Europe, but then the United States of America kind of embraced it. But the whole world was all about enslaving people and running the kingdom on slave labor. But we got better and better and better. And then we got voices added one at a time. So we got rid of slavery. Then we got women the right to vote. And then the civil rights movement came along. And then Americans with Disabilities Act and gays and lesbians and everybody else that has any type of a gender now is added into the mix. And now we find ourselves in one happy place where everybody has a voice, and there's not any real institutional racism left. However, there is not racism. There's no institutionals. Hold on, let me get my face to work. There's no real institutional discrimination. Now, there's going to be pockets. There's going to be assholes everywhere. There's going to be assholes everywhere. And when I say that, those are the people that really just need to not be listened to. They just need to be ignored because people are good all over the place. And the reason I'm back on this today is because a friend of mine was on a post, and they said, hey, if you don't like the new way that we are doing things in this organization, you can get out, you can retire, or we will just, we are going to just retire you, or we're going to get rid of you. You either comply with the new way of life, or we're going to get rid of you. And the thought process was, you are trying to not accept the changes in this organization. Therefore, you are erasing people. And as you do that, all of us are not going to accept it. And we're going to erase you from the organization instead. So somebody's making the decision to erase somebody. And then somebody else is making another decision to erase the eraser. That's how bad this has gotten. So I fired off a message and I said, hey, maybe we could build bridges and build understanding. Maybe we can take people and we can go, hey, look here, this is where my position is. And, I really would like to have, I'm just going to use any example, right? I would really like to have people that weigh less than 100 pounds in our organization. They might come in handy. Well, that's underneath the weight requirements for all of the standards. Yeah, but here's what the thing is. If we get a whole bunch of people that weigh less than 100 pounds, then they might be able to go into space easier. Or just because you're less than 100 pounds doesn't mean that you can't operate a computer. Or I might need somebody that has the skill set that short people have, so we ought to be able to include them, develop a set of standards. And then you have the old school that says, no, we don't need any short people. No short people. So the person that says no short people now has to be erased because of it. And that's what we're doing to each other. We're erasing each other. But it's beyond erasing each other. We have to fight to build those bridges. We have to fight to understand each other, because here's what the thing is. You're already trying to be erased. Can we call it genocide? Greg Myers, here's what the thing is. If somebody wants to erase an entire people, yeah, that would be genocide. I don't understand why we can't all be on the same side anyway. So here are my notes for today. And here are all the things. So back here to the guy who made, this guy made an albatross. That's a 2 on a par 5. So this is the World Health Organization. Hey, did you guys know we had a World Health Organization? How about that? This right here is what does the United Nations do? This right here is who was on the United Nations Human, what do they call this? The Human Rights Council. Yeah, there's a bunch of people on there that are on the Human Rights Council, like Cuba. Cuba is on the Human Rights Council. How the hell did that happen? Russian Federation. How the hell did they get on there? Pakistan, China. Oh, China's on the United Nations Human Rights Councils. Aren't they like imprisoning the Uyghurs? Right? So all of these organizations have come up. But that's not where I want to start. What I want to start is I want to start on Joe Biden's list of executive actions. The first thing he said is advancing racial equality and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That means that if you go against these, they're going to erase you. Now, you don't have to agree with Biden. You don't have to like him. You can't agree. You don't have to agree. But here's what the deal is. He just came out with an entire new set of rules that you're going to have to live with. If you're in the federal government, if you have anything to do with the federal government, whether you're a contractor, whether you're active duty guard reserve, whether you are a military employee, whether you're a GS employee, if you live there, they just came up with a whole bunch of rules advancing racial equality and support for underserved communities through the federal government. They said that we are going to do this because there are racial inequities and support for underserved communities. And the federal government's going to do something about that. Although it's already been banned by the federal government that you're not allowed to discriminate anybody based on all of the big ones that were in the civil rights era, which are age, race, religion, creed, sex, gender, which is codified by the Supreme Court, right? But here's what I wanted to say about number 2 Executive Order, here we go. Executive Order 13986. This is ensuring a lawful executive order entitled An Accurate Enumeration and Apportionment Pursuant to the Decennial Census. I'm going to read that again. So I had something to do with the census here in Arkansas and here in Cabot, Arkansas. Okay. Lawful and accurate enumeration and apportionment pursuant to the decennial census. So we just had a census. And you're supposed to count everybody in the United States of America. The only thing is that it's supposed to count citizens. And it used to have count citizens in the law, but then somebody took it out and then somebody put it back in, and now it's out again. Because they don't want to count just citizens. They want to count everybody in the United States. Whether you're a citizen, whether you're a legal alien, whether you're a legal alien, whether you are a visitor, whether you are whatever. So, wherever you were on April the 1st, you get counted. So, if you're in Arkansas on April 1st, you get counted on April 1st, and that counts for everybody in Arkansas. Whether you're a citizen or not, whether you plan on leaving or not, whether you're a legal alien, an illegal alien, whether you have a green card, they want all of the people counted. Here's why this matters. You have a vote. You have a vote. Did you know that your vote is the only voice that you have on how our federal lawmaking process works? It's the only voice that you really have in how our government works, is your voice. And the way that they do that is for like every 750,000 citizens in the United States, you get a congressperson. Everybody that is in a state also gets 2 senators, and we send them up to Congress and the Capitol building so that they can do our business. Now, if you count all the citizens, then all of a sudden now if you count all of the citizens, now you have representations from the citizens that vote for your elected officials that go up to Washington in the Senate and the House of Representatives. However, if you count everybody, now all of a sudden, that changes. Because if you can find an extra 30 million people, that means you change the count of where the 435 members of the House of Representatives come from. Because that's what they do. They take the total number, divided by 435. That is how many people a state needs to have in order to send to Washington. Did you know that? That's the process. Count all the people, divide by 435. That's how the representatives go. So that means if California has 5 million more people, all of a sudden, they're going to end up with whatever the number is of the math. It's probably 3 more members of the House of Representatives going from California. If you count everybody that is a non-citizen in California, whether they're legal or whether they're illegal or whether they're visiting or whether they're on a student visa or whether they are working in the state, and they could be a citizen of another country. And I'm talking about all of the citizens of other countries that are now counted through apportionment is how you're going to divide up the House of Representatives. So if you have a state that doesn't have any illegal aliens, any legal aliens, anybody that's on a student visa, everybody that's on a work visa, anybody that doesn't have an H-1B1, all of the people that come to America to work, if you don't have any of them in your state, then you can't take advantage of this right here. And Joe Biden just did that. Therefore, if you're in a tiny state and you don't have that, and California, right, has all of those, or Texas has all of those, or Arizona, all the border states have those people, now all of a sudden their voices count more because they take House of Representative seats away from the little bitty states, and they have to give them to those other states. That means that you have less representation from your state up in Congress. And that means California, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico have more representation. That's why this is important. Because basically they just erased a little bit more of you. They said you don't count any more than somebody who's visiting, although you're a citizen of the United States. Also, this is how they divide up money. So when all of the states, let's say that everybody in the United States gets $100 for education for their children, and that $100 is going to go to the state. Well, if you have 3 million people in your state like Arkansas has, well, then that means you're going to get what, 300 or 3 million, so $30 million for education in the state of Arkansas. Is that right math on that? $30 million. You're going to get $30 million in the state of Arkansas for education. But if you got the most populous state there, and they have all of the people that should not be here, then all of a sudden they get all the money for their education system, not based on the apportionment of the citizens of the United States, but all the people that shouldn't be counted in the United States because they're citizens of another country. So those people count twice in the world population of how governments give out money. And your government just said, hey, whoever's got the most people, go gather people. It doesn't matter whether they're legal. It doesn't matter whether they're illegal. If you can go gather all the people, it doesn't matter whether they're rich, whether they're poor, whether they're smart, whether they're educated, whether they're big, whether they're small, what their background is, what their religion is. If you get the people, you're getting the money. Ah! Is that crazy? So everybody that they count literally takes your voice away just a little bit more. They take and erase you in the name of other people. And this is not an argument about legal immigration, illegal immigration. It's not a matter of that. What this is a simple fact of the matter of apportionment, how you count people and where the money goes based on the census. And then how do they count congressional districts based on the census, which is taken every single year, which we just did, of which they were not allowed to ask if you were a citizen or not. How about that? Have you heard about HB1 or whatever the heck that thing is? So this right here is executive order and showing, oh, there it is. Let me show you this. So that's it. Executive order 13986, executive order reverses executive order for Trump policies had excluded non-citizens from the census. And this says we're going to count them in the census for purpose of enumeration to determine congressional apportionment. Purpose of enumeration, which basically means being counted and determined of congressional apportionment. Woo! Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on just a second. Let me get that out of your way. Congressional apportionment. Right there. So, there you have it. Okay. So, this right here, let me get this back over here. All right. So, this right here is H.R. 1 for the People Act. This right here changes the way that we vote in the United States of America. And what they say in this is, hey, we're going to count everybody, and everybody's going to go ahead and have the opportunity to vote without proving voter ID. You don't have to have any voter ID. Also, it's going to say we're going to codify in the law that all of the states have to, oh, here we go. All of the states have to have a mail-in voting system, and they don't have to have any limit. There's no limitations in federal elections on who gets a ballot. Everybody's eligible to get a ballot by mail. So that means you can go have a bum that's on the street that has no idea, no living, whatever. Somebody can get that person a ballot, and then they can vote for them and put it in a drop box, and that person's going to be counted. Because you don't have to prove who you are inside of the system of absentee ballotism. So my dad voted absentee ballot in the last election down in Louisiana. What they did is they were like, hey, register here. So he registered. And then he said, hey, I'm old. And they said, okay, we'll send you a thing. So they sent him an absentee ballot because he was registered, because he requested it, and because they had a signature thing. When he got it, he had to have another person verify, that was me, that he actually voted. I don't even know who he voted for. I don't know who he voted for. That was on another page. But my signature and his signature had to go there. All I'm saying is, that was it. That was as easy as it was. I mean, I'm like, come on, man. There's got to be more security, security in this. There's not like you just fill in the blanks and then send it back in. Well, what happens if anybody gets a hold of that ballot? You can not only fake a person's signature, but you can, and now the signatures are not required over half the country, and you can also forge the witness. All you have to do is get a hold of the ballot. That's it. That's all you have to do. If somebody gets a hold of a ballot, guess what it does to your vote? If you are voting and you are good for one vote, and I grab another ballot, and I take a ballot and I put in a false vote, that means your vote only counted half. And elections in this country are normally spread by half, very, very small margins, which is crazy. So now they're erasing you with a vote. They're erasing you with the census. Now they also have these things called the World Health Organization. You know what the World Health Organization does? They say that, the health topics that are here, come on, baby. EFCG, go to. There you go. Gender is a World Health, right? Gender, that's a World Health problem right there. Where is, there it is. There's a big one. Climate change. Climate change, that's a health thing. We're not going to let countries decide that, right? So we have to, it causes an additional 250,000 deaths from climate-sensitive diseases, heat stress, malnutrition, dengue, and malaria from 2030 onward. So that's what they said. They said, hey, look here, this is going to be a deal. Now, I don't know how many climatologists they have in the World Health Organization, but they are pushing an agenda based on that they go, hey, look here, man, we've thought about this. We're from the UN and we're here to help. Ha! Steve S. says, that is the epitome of voter fraud. Yes, it is. It is total BS. It is total BS, Steve Hayes. And here's the other thing. When they say that we have problems, we do, because the World Health Organization is trying to control your health based on an assumption that they're making about global warming and climate change. So that means that their advice and who they take it from, they're going to be taking it from places like, I don't know, crackpots in Australia, crackpots in Japan, crackpots in China, crackpots in Pakistan. They can take it from the Taliban. All they have to do is just write it down, go, oh yeah, that looks good, here we go. It can be all political. I'm just saying. How about this organization? Right? Where is it? So, all right, so I made a list. So here are the organizations, right? The United Nations. They're supposed to be a peacekeeping thing and supposed to make negotiations so everybody doesn't get in a fight. They were formed after World War II in order to help world peace. I'm telling you right now, they've been doing a shitty job trying to get world peace. Shitty job. Horrible. Right? So the UN can't even meet their charter. And then they have people like China and Pakistan on the Human Rights Council. What the hell? There are 47 countries on the Human Rights Council, of which there exists China. Dumb. right? So then we have the World Health Organization, which I just talked about right there. They're trying to control you through their idea of medicines and vaccination and world breakouts. You're not allowed to make the decisions. They're going to make the decisions, and the government of the world is supposed to follow them. The World Bank. They control the money supply. They've got more money than everybody. They're called the World Bank. I don't even know how they're funded. But here's what the deal is. When they can bail out entire countries, you know that the World Bank has got some cash. And then they use the World Monetary Fund to take more money and go do whatever they want to, because the World Monetary Fund can go to any country that they want to. It can go to countries in Africa, in Asia, in Pakistan. And you know who pays the majority of that? You do. You don't get a say in what they do, but they're taking your money. The World Health Organization taking your money. The UN taking your money. NATO taking your money. The World Monetary Fund taking your money. If they take your money, then you don't have control of your money because you are sending it to the government. The government is taking it and they're doing what they want rather than you having your money and you do what you want with it. So you are not only erased, you are enslaved. Is that the craziest stuff you have ever heard? I'm sorry that once again I got preachy. I didn't mean to get preachy. But this stuff makes me mad. Who else is erasing you? Well, Facebook is erasing you. Apple, it can erase you. Twitter can erase you. Amazon Web Services erased 20 million users on Parler. They were just like, oh, no. We don't like you. We're going to erase you. Boom, you're done. You're out. See you later, man. Your entire social media network. Somebody did something on your network that other people did on Twitter, other people did on Facebook, but we're singling you out because we think that you are dangerous and we're going to wipe you out. Oh, by the way, got word back, my legislation in the state of Arkansas to fix the internet problem is going through the wickets. And I'm fixing the internet. I'm telling you right now, mark this down as the second time I've said it. I am fixing the internet personally. And if I've got to own the world's largest internet company in order to keep it fair, in order to keep it free, in order to not have voices silenced, I will own and I will run the world's largest internet company. I don't want to. I'm happy here in Arkansas. But if they force me to do this, I guarantee I will put together a business plan and I will take over the planet. Son of a guns. All right, so let's see. So anyway, jobs are gone. They just erased 11,000 jobs of the Keystone Pipeline when Joe Biden wiped that off. We talked about that the other night, but those jobs are gone. What can they do with your industry? What can they do with the industry that you're in just to wipe you out? What? You know what they did yesterday? We talked about this, right? So the GameStop fiasco, they wiped out all the little bitty investors. That's why I'm doing this show tonight, because yesterday they wiped out the little bitty investors and said, oh, I'm sorry, you can only sell, you can't buy. Wait a minute, but I know the stock is going to go up. Yeah, you can't buy, but you can sell. And as the price started dropping, all of these people started selling, and then it dropped to the bottom. It dropped to like 126, but they were back in the fight today, and GameStop stock rose 74% today. Is that awesome or what? So it went up like 800%, and then it fell like 700%, and then it went up another 700 today. Is that awesome? But they're trying to silence all the little people. They're trying to erase the little people financially. They're trying to erase their jobs. They're trying to erase their voice. They're trying to erase everything. And congratulations, you're one of the little people because you're a middle people. Oh my, I got to write that down. You are a little people because you are a middle people. You are a middle people. I just came up with a new slogan. You are a little people because you are a little people because you are a middle people. All right. Hey, that's gonna be it for tonight. Thank you very much. Remember to have a fantastic weekend. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, 9 p.m. Central, right here from wherever I am. And remember to like, share, ring the notification bell, and hug somebody. Oh my gosh, hug somebody. Do somebody a favor. Give them a hug. Put on a mask, of course. Wash your hands. Hug them. And then go sanitize and pray for them because they're going to get the COVID. All right, so that's it for me. Remember, everybody, to live, laugh, love. Remember, I love you, and I hope somebody else does too. Love somebody. Give them a hug. Live, laugh, love. Peace. Number.